So the last election we had was in 2023, and the next election is in 2027. But let me give you a little bit, some facts about the past election that we had. As at the time we had our election in 2023, our population was over 229 million. Out of the 229 million, we had only 90.6 registered voters. And out of those registered voters, only a quarter actually voted during the election. And now the next election is coming. So we want to use this discussion, we want to use this episode to shed more light on the electoral system in Nigeria, the debunk common myths and things that we usually hear about the electoral process, and educate our viewers so you can understand better your rights and you can vote for the next election. The main purpose of this is to encourage you to get your PVC. Hi, my name is Winifred, and I'm joined today with Winner,
Hi.
and we're going to be looking at the electoral process in Nigeria. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do will be to look at the myths that we frequently hear among us, and some of them are not actually myths, some of them are actually true. There are some things that will cover under myths, but we're going to be very, very honest with you. They actually exist, and I feel like we'll be very, what's that word? It would be very wrong to call something a myth when it is in fact a fact. So the first one I'm going to start with is the incumbent always wins. People always believe that the what's that word? That the ruling
Ruling party.
party would still maintain their power, and they already have the resources, they have the technical know-how to make sure that whoever they want to be the president actually becomes the president. So what do you have to say about that?
While this is in Nigeria, most always like it occurs usually
Yeah.
from year to year, every year for election, we always see it happen. However, there has been one particular year where this has not happened. This was back in 2015. The election was between, or rather, the running party was PDP and APC. PDP was first the candidate running under PDP was Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and
Yeah.
the candidate running under APC was the late Muhammadu Buhari. During that election, Muhammadu Buhari was able to win the election against the win in the ruling party, who had been ruling for since 1999. So this particular party had been ruling from 1999, and APC was able to take over from them. This shows that it is not always the ruling party. Sometimes things happen, power changes. Sometimes people decide that, okay, you know what, we don't want this particular person to rule us any longer. And occasionally this happens in Nigeria where a new party will take over and then something new. So while this might be a myth aspect, it's something that has been going on for a while. There's been a one particular situation where we've been shown that it doesn't always happen. There's always something that changes the status quo.
Okay. And there's a saying that bad things happen not because of bad people, but rather the silence of good people. So if you think that the incumbent always wins, why should I bother voting? You're actually just tying more into the narrative and helping them win by not voting. So
Yeah.
thank you very much. I think the next one, which is like a very sore topic, would be election violence and election intimidation. We hear stories all the time, allegedly, about election violence and election intimidation. The last election, we had a lot of things that were happening in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in different areas. So that kind of scares voters because what do you mean I'm going to be hassled, I'm going to be razzled just because I want to vote? What do you mean I'm putting my life on the line just because I want to choose the next leader of this country?
This particular topic is something every Nigerian has gone out to vote or cast their vote or show that or cast their what do you call it show their democratic rights that's been offered to them as citizens. It's something they've all gone through. This is something that happens every election. In fact, years or months leading to the election year, you'd see violence happen, people dying. Maybe sometimes as per the result of election going on, or sometimes just unrest. People wanting to already put their stakes on whatever is going to happen in the coming election. So this is not something that we can tell you, okay, this might be a myth, but
Yeah.
it's something that actually happens. There's always video, usually there's video evidence of people
Yeah.
being hurt, people being pushed, people being harassed just because they're going out to cast their vote for whoever they want to cast. And this is not right. I want to say election violence is inevitable. Is it supposed to be inevitable? Is a question we're supposed to be asking. Is it something that should be happening? Is it something that, as a country in Nigeria, we should always expect? Once people are going to cast, people are like, oh, be careful, oh, don't do this, oh,
Yeah.
don't do that, though. Is it something that we've gotten so comfortable with that once it's election time, everybody's just like, you know how things go. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to go a certain way to avoid violence or to avoid being harassed or to avoid casting your vote. While it may be inevitable, it is not something that should continue to happen. it is something that I feel I don't know how we might possibly stop it because we're Nigerians. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's always hard for us to shed some particular habits.
bad
So
habits.
it's a bad thing that should not happen. It is inevitable, but we hope that maybe in the coming election, this is something that we can find a way to put by the wayside. It can find a way to be peaceful. We can just cast our we hope. We know it's not something that always happens. You might want to be like, oh my god, but what about that? We know that it's something that always happens, but we just think that we would want it to be a fallacy. We would want it to be
Yeah,
like, I can't even remember the last time that there was actually election, but we want something. We want it to be something that people refer to in the past tense. That something doesn't happen. So while this might be a fallacy, I can't even say it's not a fallacy, but it's just something we hope that we can put by the wayside. It can be in the past. We can move on from it.
and the truth of the matter is, with a better government, this thing can be solved.
Yeah.
Most people keep perpetuating this aim at election violence occurs because it's the only way by which dishonest people have been getting into power. If there's a very good system that ensures that our electoral rights are upheld, that ensures that there are proper systems in place to ensure a safe and fair election, then you will see that this thing will become a thing of the past. It wasn't always there, and it doesn't always have to be there. So it all still boils down to putting the right person in power to ensure that these elections are free and they are fair.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and something else just to tie into what you just mentioned is they kind of go together because people also believe that election results are always predetermined. Because I remember that 2023 election, it was terrible. We could see videos of our votes being burnt, being thrown on the street like trash while they were still counting votes. So everybody was like, what exactly are you counting when we're seeing our votes on the streets? So it just tied into that narrative that voting, the results were already predetermined. They already had what they wanted to do. They already had what their plans, and we're just like pawns, just thinking we're doing our best, but really, were we even doing anything in a system where the winner was already predetermined? And it begs the question that if it happened before, and similar people from the previous set are running again, what's to say it's not going to happen now? So how do we know that even when we vote, the results are not predetermined? How do we know that we're actually voting and our votes are actually counting? Because that's what matters, you know. So what do you have to say about that?
Hmm. For this particular one, I think we can add two things together. We can say one, people always say, oh, election votes are already predetermined. The other one is that your vote doesn't matter. It doesn't, when people want to say, oh, I don't want to vote because at the end of the day, they don't feel like their one vote matters. All I want to say to this is that if that your one vote, you think that your one vote doesn't matter, when election comes around, people would not be giving you rice, a bag of rice, a cup of rice to vote for them. They would not be giving you those semo to vote for them. They would not be paying you money, no matter the account, no matter the amount rather, to vote for them. So it feels like something we've seen happen numerous times. But I feel like on the other hand, there are also situations where we can see where our votes count. Like I think in the Abia State election, where the INEC
Yes.
official actually had to stake herself and say, you know what, she wants this particular election. I'm sorry, I don't know her name. I should have checked whether, but she wants this particular election to be free and fair. She wants the votes count. She wants her state to be something that she's proud of. She wants the right person to come into power. So that shows you that once the right people are involved, when the right people are in charge of that particular election, there's always a way whereby your vote would count. Like look at Abia State now, they're building roads, they're doing new things. There's a new thing pertaining to Abia State coming out every time. Or one thing Abia State, the other thing Abia State. So it happens. It's very rare, but it happens occasionally. Once in a blue moon, we would see our votes count. So that's what we hope, that this myth would not stop anybody from going out to cast their vote, not stop anybody from being like from having any doubt about it. Just do your part. I just feel like at the end of the day, you do your part. You count, you cast your vote for who you think is the right person for you. Hopefully, you look at their manifesto and make sure that whatever it is that they're doing is actually something you feel
Yeah.
like is for the betterment of the country. You cast your vote and you go back. You don't just sit down and say, you know what, I don't feel like it's going to count. I don't feel like
Yeah.
it matters. I don't feel like my one vote would actually do anything. Just do your part and then you go home and you hope for the best. That's it.
It's
That's
true.
what
You
I
just
can
have to
say.
do your part and leave the rest up to the system and hope that the system would work
Yeah.
as it should.
Yeah.
And it also reminds me of one other thing. So in Nigeria, minimum wage is 70,000 naira. And even at this 70,000 naira, not a lot of states are actually giving 70,000 naira.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not all those states that are giving 70,000 naira. It's not, it's it was set in 2024, but you can still see people earning 30,000. You can still see people earning 20,000. Minimum wage is 70K, but it's more like a 70K in the books. But when you go out to the streets, when you speak with people, you realize that they're not being paid that much. And even the 70K is not enough in a system where inflation, or in a country
They
where
pay
inflation
anything.
is eating every single thing, where the dollar cost is on a spiral. And it then makes me question election. Now, I'm going to tie the points together. So let me use PDP as an example. If you want to run for a governorship election under a political party, you would have to pay the sum of 21 million naira. And if you want to do presidential, like you want to run for presidential election under the same
Mhm.
PDP, you are buying, I don't know what it's called, but you're going to have to register. Let me just put it as registration with the
I
sum
think
of
you buy a
50.
form.
Yes, I think the form, right? You're going to be doing that with the sum of 50 million naira. And it makes you question, like, in a country where the minimum wage is
70K.
70,000, I can't afford to go for governorship, even if I have good intentions.
Yeah.
You can't afford to go for governorship or president or for the presidency, even if
Mm.
you have good intentions. So what does this mean? This means I may have to solicit the help of rich people who we
Yeah.
call godfathers.
Fathers.
And by the time these people help and they fund my aspirations, I'm indebted to them.
Yeah.
And the debt doesn't just come in form of paying the money back. Oh, you sponsored me with 100 million.
Mhm.
Let me pay you back with 100 million. No, they want contracts. They don't want certain things to be done. They want rules to be made in their favor.
People.
They want taxes to be reduced for them. So it also ties to this, what I say is a myth that people say that the wealthy determines the results. Because look at it, if a regular person cannot have the aspiration, cannot even think of going for presidency because of the cost involved, is either you're rich. That means for you to be a president, you have to be very, very rich, or you have to be
Have
sponsored by a rich
connections.
set of
Yeah.
people. And those rich set of people, they have to take their
Give
own cut,
share.
their own
Yeah.
piece of the cake. So he also asks the question of, are the results already determined by the wealthy? Is it just the wealthy that wins? Because if you check it, they have to have some sort of political backing.
Yeah.
So is that one even a myth, or is it just the reality?
I feel so far in it. There's some. I feel like at this particular point, we as Nigerians, we need to accept the truth that there are some certain things that goes on in this country that we can say, you know what, that's just the way it's not that we should accept, it's not that something that we should just move on and be like that's just the way, and we, but it's things that happen. Again, we're going to call back to 2023 election. Okay, again, allegedly, people when they went out, they're like, oh my
Yeah.
god, they're giving them money.
Yeah.
Dollars. This is hard currency. We live in a country where we spend naira, and you're giving people allegedly dollars to go and count their votes.
Yeah.
That just shows you that maybe the wealthy do in fact.
Okay, because in that situation, that person won.
Exactly, because if they're giving you dollars, if they're not
Oh
giving
my
you $1, they're not giving
goodness.
you $2, they're giving you bundle, like they don't say like 100, like a bundle
$100 what they're
to
giving
go
them.
and vote. It just shows you that maybe they are in fact in charge. The advantage they have, the power they have over these particular elections is a bit too much. They're always pulling the strings from one place to another. You might think, oh, somebody doesn't have a hand there. You'll be surprised. They are there giving, their hands are already there, telling people what to
Yeah.
do, how things are run. So while this might be a myth, I still feel it applies. Into sometimes you just need to accept the truth. It applies. Should it be something that keeps on going on? No,
No.
but it applies. It's something we see year after year. Every 4 years during election, where something always going around. They're giving these people this. They're giving these people that. Sometimes it's not even something tangible. They're giving people what they call it semo to go and cast your. I understand Nigeria is a very hard country. As we've said, 70K for minimum wage for a country where you're buying fuel, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're buying like you're doing there are a
Yeah.
lot of bills constantly stacking on top of each other. So some people might say, you know what, maybe I should take it. After all, to the other meat, my vote does not count. My one
Exactly.
vote does
They
not
all
count.
work
It doesn't
together.
matter. Everything is already predetermined, so they might as well just do it. It is something that happens, but it should not.
It
It's
should
something that
not
we
be
should always tell
happening.
ourselves that it should not be happening. It happens, but it should not be happening. The wealthy people should not be pulling the strings of these officials behind the scene. We should know what is happening. We should know why the persons that we're voting for, the persons behind them, not just saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to cast. I feel like at the end of the day, we just need to do our research. Whoever it is, we
Yeah.
want, you go look into them, how their integrity, their manifesto, what they intend to
Yeah.
do. You don't just say, you know what, this person, I kind of like the way you look, and I want to cast my vote for you.
Everybody.
That's it. That is quite literally insane, and it happens in Nigeria over and over.
happens
We
a lot.
see it every 4 years. Just see people just say, I just want to vote for you just because, or maybe the person has something, a name similar to mine, which is insane. You should not be casting your vote based on that. So again, do the wealthy what they call it control elections in Nigeria? Okay, sometimes they do. They pull the string behind the scene. Should they be doing that? They should not. Is it a myth? No, this one is not in fact a myth. It okay. We don't I cannot say straightforward that it actually happens, but we've heard allegedly that it happens, but it should not be what goes on, I guess. Yeah. We
Yeah.
hope by the next year it doesn't happen. Hopefully.
I wanted to,
Hopefully.
I was researching, thank you. I was researching an article by Punch because I wanted to make sure that I got the figures correctly. When I was about to say it, I wanted to say 100 million. And I was like, no, 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 it can't be 100 million. Now, for the 2027 election, which is the presidential election will be in January, our current president has, this is not allegedly because it's in the news, he has set, let me read it out. The federal government has proposed 135 billion. Let me read it again. The federal government has proposed 135 billion in the 2026 budget for what is described as electoral adjudication and post-election provision, pointing to a fresh multi-billion naira commitment to managing disputes and obligations that typically trail Nigerian election. You are keeping this money that in case after the election your position is being contested or they are contesting the result of the election, this is how much you are going to spend. You're not even hoping that, I don't know if you get my point. You're
A
not
free
even
and fair
hoping that
election.
there'll be a free and fair election. It's like they are planning for this, like Adiko Amama, or maybe they prepared. So it begs the question: if you're planning for this thing and the association in charge of election is INEC really free and fair? Is INEC really a credible resource? Is INEC really an organization that we can actually put our trust in? Because it's INEC that manages the election, right? In its terms of the ones in charge of the voting, that the officials you see at the voting centers and everywhere. And with the way they recruit people, I remember doing NYSC, there were some people that became INEC officers. And I'm like, you are doing NYSC, it kind of like it wasn't gelling in my head, but I don't want to go deeper into that because I haven't actually done my research. But with the way the systems are not properly placed, to it begs the question like, should they how would I even say it? Like, should we trust INEC?
Random officials.
Do you understand? Should we trust INEC? So that ties into what I was going to say about, hold on, my next myth, that INEC is biased because INEC is controlled by the ruling party and are often fueled to do actions that benefit the ruling party. So yeah, again, is this a myth or is this a fact right now?
This for INEC, from what I've seen, I think they are a government parasite. They're a
Yeah,
government agency. So whatever budget they are that is being set aside for them is something that is for them. It's not like as if it's because they're giving them the budget, they should then have certain
loyalty.
obligations, loyalty to the ruling government. It is for them. In their name, the name is quite literally Independent National Electoral. That means whatever happens, they are expected to
Independent.
be independent, no
Yeah,
bias, no I know you, no Godfather, no nothing. They're supposed to be just you go there, you do your thing, you count your votes, you place it, and you move on. That is supposed to be how it is. But in the country we all live in, this Nigeria that we are all staying in, there have been allegedly news. We don't know how true it is, but there's always something flying around how you can't trust INEC. They are loyal to these other people, or
yeah.
the ruling party has set their own spies there to do one thing, to do another thing. Is this supposed to? Is this a myth? Okay, we don't have proof to tell you if they
Yeah.
need to know. It's something we've heard. You as a Nigerian, if you want to decide and say, I've not heard anything, you know you're lying. You know you're lying to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Free yourself from this shackle. Accept it. It is something we've
Yeah.
always heard. There's a spy here. There's spy. There's sometimes you will see videos of maybe the stuffing the paper away. This is people that we expect to have no bias. They're supposed to be free. They're supposed to be at least the one agency in Nigeria. We should always say, okay, even if anything happens, you people, we're going to put our trust to know that you people are an independent agency, separate from the government, to do whatever it is you're expected to do at that particular. Once 4 years reach, this is your job. You do your job and you go. And when another 4 years, this is something we expect. But because we live in this particular country where there are no what do you call it, places or what would I say, all these how would I put it? They're not. I'm putting for like stakes made
Mm-hmm.
put in place to prevent these kind of things from happening. Because, as you said, employing NYSC. What I'm not saying is a bad thing, but are they do they have the regular training required to actually carry this thing out? Are there people you can say, okay, yes, this person is a biased person. This person has enough training to know that whatever anybody comes to whisper in their ear about doing this, about doing that, they cannot do it because they've been given certain information about how this is very important for this country to actually move forward. This is something that, as a country, be asking questions about. We should not just once that 4 years come, we'll just all come out and be like, these people are not actually independent, though. They're actually doing this, actually doing this. It's something that we should
Yeah.
ask questions. Okay, I think for INEC, every 4 years they are supposed to bring out like a fresh I'll call it act to displace the other one. Maybe they will
Yeah.
bring it to say, okay, this is something we've done to change whatever we did previously. This is a new thing we've changed to do. This is a new way we've decided to do things. So, while I want to say, while this is it's something that we as Nigerians should always like look into. Okay, what is this new law they've made that is supposed to better this coming election? What is this particular thing they've done that would actually help us or make this election fair and fair, or make whatever votes Nigerian cast something that would reflect at the end? But I don't want to put the blame largely on Nigerians or anybody
Yeah.
for that matter. It's just the way saying it's just the way Nigeria is actually kind of an excuse, but it's just the way things happen.
Yeah.
After the election, they will bring out and say, okay, they've changed this so and so rule, or during the election, we'll see Mago Mago going around. They are supposed to be independent. They're supposed to be an agency that we should trust to do their job and move on. But seeing as the country we live in, it's not, they don't always do what they're supposed to do, or there's always one person. This one is not so far. It has not been a meet. It happens occasionally, like again, the Abia State own, where this lady was able to wanted to stake her and say,
Yeah.
you know what, I'm going to do the job that you people send, you are paying me, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And once you see somebody decide to do what they expected to do,
Everybody
you
should follow
see change.
suit. You see
Exactly.
change. Look at
You
Abia
see things
State.
moving
Ah,
forward.
gosh.
It should be something that
People should emulate. We have to emulate that things in this country.
Yes. This woman stood 10 toes down. She said, you know what? This is what I want for this election. And
They
then
came for me.
I said this, and it should be something like, as Nigerians, when they come in election, this is something that we should be saying, you know what, this is what we want to see.
Yeah.
This is when the election comes, we want to be able to see it moving forward, not constantly being stagnant in one place year after year, day after day. We're just here, and when we wake up, be like, now wow, one more.
Now God, the FSC.
There's so much that he can continue to do. At some point, Nigerians, you know what? We just hope, while it might be a myth that INEC is expected to be independent, they are a government parastatal or agency separate from the government. It's just something we always see. We always see them doing, some of them, I don't want to generalize, we always see some of them, some stray people doing whatever it is they feel it will be better for them, forgetting that you're not supposed to only look after yourself. This is something that concerns millions of people in this country. You cannot just do so and say myself, when bad thing come, it's not reach me and my family, which is not possible. We live in this country, it's going to reach you one way or another. It's supposed to be, at the end of the day, independent. I feel like that word alone should just guide them. Independent, no bias, no loyalty to anybody. You do your job and you go for it. Is it a myth? No, it happens constantly. But we hope, again, in this coming election, we can say, this thing did not happen. No. It's the thing of the past. We've moved forward.
Yeah.
We hope, again, hope is the only thing we can always say will happen. So, INEC, please,
So this thing you said, it reminds me of one post I saw where they said you can be like a zealot online, and then your mom is at home being the force of darkness against you. Because you are here talking about PVC, then your mother is at home and she's carrying semo and she's carrying gari, and you're going home to eat it, and you don't even
the
know.
reason what I saw online was pants. It was insane. I was
The candidate's face was on the underwear.
What are we doing, guys? A pants on
It was crazy. It was
They
crazy.
didn't even try. They didn't even put effort. I'm sorry. I know I'm dirty, but I'm sorry. They didn't even put effort into. What do you mean you're giving people pants with your face on it for them to vote for you?
Anywhere they go, they will stay reminded of you. It's very, very weird, because this is why it's not just the younger generation that needs to be talking about this. We need to have conversations with this older generation.
Yeah.
Right now, they make multitude, or they make more of the population. So if we do all these things we are doing, if we say everything we are saying, but they do not know the difference between right and wrong, they are going to repeat those same mistakes that they made before, and they're going to perpetrate the same act, and we're going to be stuck in the same cycle. So
over and over.
We need to have these conversations with elderly people. Do you have your PVC? Who are you voting for? Why are you voting for them? Are you collecting SEMO? What is SEMO? I know that's no. I feel like that comes from SEMO is very expensive and SEMO is nice and all that, but for the cost of your country, for the cost of the next 4 years, it's not worth it. Not even bag of rice is worth it, and they're not even giving people a bag of rice. And the worst part is people are not being honest to know that these parties that are trying to bribe you, they do not want your good.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you 1 million to start that business. They're going to give you good light. They're going to give you rice. Rice they'll finish in 2 days. Rice they'll finish in 2 weeks. Or give me 1 million, let me know that I sold my vote for 1 million and I started business. No, they're just getting peanuts. So why would you sacrifice your country for that? No, I'm not
I
saying
feel like
the 1 million
Nigerians, we don't
is good,
see
but
the
the
future.
long,
Yes, the long picture.
the long picture, we don't see it at
We
all.
just
We
see
just see
now.
what is there, immediate gratification. Oh, this is rice. I can cook this rice today. Let me collect the rice.
Which,
Finish.
honestly, we're not saying like it's a bad thing. We understand that the country is hard and whatever, and you feel like
It's a
let me
bad
not
thing.
miss out. So people be like, let me not miss out on
No,
it.
let's say I be good. I be good
Exactly.
person. And
Let
I'm
me not
just
miss
gonna
out
come
on it.
collect.
Like, even if the vote don't count, at least let me collect rights, which is not a thought we should be having at this particular. But too, how old is Nigeria in this state? We're too to be complaining about light, to be complaining about things that we should not be. You cannot call yourself giant of Africa and there's nothing to
Look at Lagos and the
Come
flooding.
on now.
Look at, we know every year we have Harmattan season, which is dry season. We have rainy season, but every single year on social media we see the flood. Even if we cannot put gutter, they put gutter, so people have blocked it. There's not enough gutter. Even the little gutter that is there is being clogged with dirt. Every single year, people are doing the same thing over and over again. And you've not asked yourself, why can't the governor do something? Why can't they make the situation better? When it reach time now, you collect toothpaste. No,
Come on.
no, your vote matters more than
Than
that.
you think. And I think
matters
because
more than that
people
as
don't
well.
have enough knowledge about it, they feel they can just use people in here. Because people don't, it's usually, I want to, like maybe the recent,
Yeah.
the younger, let me just show you younger aspect from like 18 to let's say 40, 50. They're the ones that
Yeah.
have more. I'm not castigating older people, please don't call for me. I'm just talking about these are the people that their eyes are there on the ground. So they feel like if these other people don't have the knowledge about this thing, they can just go through them. They can be the ones that will be the faces of this particular thing. They can be, and if they feel like these older people are doing it, they feel like okay, maybe the younger generation will follow, which is a very odd thought because these people they see here. People have come but even like there's not enough electoral knowledge on what goes on in Nigeria during the election. It's just every
You don't
family
educate the masses.
exactly. Everybody
You're
just
not
know that
expected
there's
to vote. Expected to
Exactly.
do PVC. You go to okay, like when we went to get our PVC,
PVC, yeah.
you go and you see that people don't know how to change name. People don't know how to even get their PVC. They come and they confused.
register online.
What thing I go do? So imagine if
It's
I now say
insane.
and I position myself as a PVC helper. I help you finish. I can't tell you who to vote. You probably vote for that person.
Yes, because you have enough knowledge about it to actually direct
So
you
these
the
are the
right
things
way.
that we need to be having conversations about. They're supposed to be in the radio, on the TV, telling people about this voting, how to do it, breaking the information down to a simplified level that anybody can understand.
Even
That
if
this is
it's
how you
PG,
do it.
even if it's
Cyber cafes. I want to register for this thing. No. Even when you go and collect it, look at the queue. Look at how frustrated you will be to collect votes to change your country.
No
It's like the
network.
whole
Look at the country. We sat there.
no network. Like they just I don't understand.
So everything that is like it doesn't always happen, but it's a crazy thing for you to go and then you say, okay, yeah, this is the step I want to take, and they tell you no network. You sit down there and you wait, no network. It's insane. Like, giant of Africa, what do you have to show for
we have
it?
only population.
What do you have to show for it?
Ah.
Nothing. But we carry on.
This brings me to my last point. I'm going to call it a point. Now, when elections first started in Nigeria, it was all about voting for candidates, and in a way, it shifted. So we have more than 200 ethnic groups in Nigeria, and we have ethnic groups, yes, and we have so many religions, but the most common, which is what we're all taught in school, is Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, and the most common religion is Christianity and Islam, and we have the traditional worshippers. But funny enough, even though we were initially traditionalists, like we all had our different traditions, we've kind of pushed them to the side. That's a conversation for another day. So let's say that right now the main people are the Christians and the Islams. So election became a thing about you have to try and what's that word? Pander to different ethnic groups.
Yeah.
So if you notice, if your president is Yoruba, maybe the vice president will be Igbo, or if the president is Muslim, maybe the vice president will be Christian. So it was kind of a way to get everybody's vote and make everybody feel involved. But even then, it's still what's that word? And it's actually two in one. It's still what's that word? Excluded so many people. For example, Jonathan was from a minority. I think Jonathan was from Delta.
Yeah, I think
he was from Delta, and it was a thing of joy to see him be the president. So it also begs the question that do voters vote along the line of ethnicity and religion? We've seen it so many times. An Igbo man cannot rule over me. A Yoruba man cannot rule over me. Abokino go rule over me. We've heard this kind of statements that are derogatory, because shouldn't you be assessing candidates based on what they bring to the table, not where they are from? So imagine you are going for a position, in your heart, not even in your heart, your credentials are there, everything is there. Somebody tells that you would not be given that position on the basis of your religion, on the basis of where you are from. If it happens to me, I'm going to be very, very sad. So why should we allow it happen here? That's the next myth, that voters vote along the line of who they think is right for them based on the ethnicity or the religion of such people.
Okay, this particular war, I feel like we can go on and on and on and on, because especially in Nigeria, where I feel like we are, I don't want to say we are too many, as where the country cannot contain all of us, but everybody just feels like they want their own side
Like
to be
everybody's just
showcased.
selfish.
Yes, they don't care who they have to step, but they don't care if the country should not move forward, but they want their own person to be there. If the country doesn't move forward, as long as my person is there, I feel like it's something, whether it is religious or whether it is ethnical, they feel like if the person is similar to me in a way, or maybe it's from my tribe, is Igbo, I'm Igbo, if the person is Yoruba, I'm Yoruba. I feel like if they feel like if they vote along those lines, it shows
Loyalty.
patriotism. Yes, but you are a Nigerian first and foremost before you are from a particular ethnic group. When you go, let me divert. When you go out of the country, they don't ask you, oh, are you Igbo? Except that person is okay, or maybe that person is learned enough, and they will say, okay,
unless that person is a fellow Igbo person, exactly. Are you a Nigerian?
Yes,
that is the general name for us.
Once you come to Nigeria,
we break it down, we scatter everything.
You try to label everybody. You are Igbo, you go to church. Even Christianity, we've gone so far as to say Christian is not enough. You don't serve only God. You are Catholic, you are Anglican, you're Protestant, you go to Jehovah's Witness, you go to Winners, you go to Redeem. We've tried so many ways to divide ourselves. Ethnic group is not enough. Go forward to what? In fact, even in ethnic groups, people find a way to still divide themselves. You're from a particular state. That person is not from my village. That person is not from my government. So what exactly are we doing? We don't only take this as a personal thing. We now try to move it forward towards presidential something that you should be asking, this person that is going, what can they offer me? Sorry, not offer me. What can they do to better my country? How can they move us forward? How can they move because Nigerians, we have a particular stereotype once we go abroad. How can they change these stereotypes? How can we move forward? How can we as a country prosper? We don't try to ask those questions. We ask, where are they from? This one is an Igbo man. I'm sure we vote for it. In fact, it was so terrible last
election
2023. It's where we live. People will go after. I don't want to vote for this one. They feel like Igbo people can come out. That is so backward. That is a view that you as an educated person, it just feels so left for you to just have that kind of view and be like, so I don't want an Igbo person to view. So once I hear it, and I'm like, what's going on? When I was on my WhatsApp, I just block you. If you just say anything, you are gone. I don't have any strength. I don't have it, because it is too archaic. You're too educated of a person to have those kind of views, to be saying this person is not from my place. So depending on that, you know the person might do better. The person might do better for the country. The person is not from my it's not from my place, not from my village, it's not from my this one, it's not from my that one. You will find a way not to vote for them. Find a way to cast aspersions on them. Maybe you will say, this time, that time, are you sure they did anything? Or you try to.
I feel like I hate when people lie. Like if someone has been a good leader, it's okay to say they've been a good leader. But you just want to rubbish all their effort. He didn't do anything. He destroyed this place. I'm sure that even after this Abia State governor finished doing everything, people come and drag and say he didn't do anything.
They will drag you.
Let's see the truth for what it is. If a candidate is coming out and that candidate has actually done good, you say that this candidate has done good. If you've been looking, when this guy wanted to, Thomas Edison, when he wanted to do light bulb, but I didn't enter quotes. He did
steal that idea from somebody else.
He stole the idea from somebody.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know that you continue with this story. Carry on. Continue with this story. Anyway, in fact, he wanted to do light bulb and he tried 1,000 times. And they're like, oh, you failed 1,000 times. I'm like, no, I've just tried 1,000 times, like different ways that did not work. He was trying different things every single time before he finally did it. Now, you've been doing the same pattern over and over again, this same tribalism, this same religious something. It has not favored this country. Isn't it time to take a step back and assess other candidates on other bases other than their tribe and religion? Like right now, Nigerians in Ghana, they're chasing us away. Nigerians in South Africa, they're chasing us away. Almost everywhere, they're chasing us away. If they hear Nigeria, it becomes a bad thing. And your own country is not even good enough for you to come back to. See, there's going to come a time when no country is going to want us, respectfully. There's going to come a time, like, I feel like a lot of countries are just using us to build our economy right now, like Canada is using us to build our economy. There's going to be a time when they may not want us so much, and we don't even have the proper diplomatic relations to fight for our people over there. Our own country is not even better off. So if you're voting because somebody is Igbo, because someone is Yoruba, you're destroying the country. It will not be good for you to live in. It will not be good for others to come back to. So we need to ask ourselves that if the previous ways we've been doing things haven't worked, why don't we try a new way that goes beyond
Just tribalism.
Just tribalism. It's because we are Nigerians first before we are Igbo, before we are Yoruba, before we are Hausa. We are Nigerians first. So
And
let's,
sorry, one
yeah,
thing I feel like one thing that these particular things we do kind of shifts away focus on the main thing we should be focusing on. Somebody that moves forward. Because we're focused on all these
I feel
ethnical,
like it's a little
religious. So,
fights to make us
yes.
more scattered
It
and
will
not
not
even
lead to
come
election
together.
and violence that we just talked about because they don't feel like you're going to vote for the person that is from their tribe. They will not want to, which is insane, honestly, to think
And I
about, but
feel
it
like,
happens.
to be very honest with you, this tribalism thing, it goes beyond the election. If you are
Yeah.
in Lagos and you see the way Igbo and Yoruba people relate, there's this disdain, this
From it.
hatred. There's a long history behind it with the war and everything. And I'm not saying it's not valid
And
though.
it's not everybody. It's not for me and my friends. It happens. It's
It
there.
happens. It happens. Like even in religious something, I know someone that was like, "Oh, I can't be friends with anybody who's not Catholic," and I'm like, "What does that even mean?
It
You're not
means
ready to broaden your horizon. All my friends have to be Catholic, so they'll point me in the right direction." Ah, okay. Then the tribalism own. I think I was speaking with a friend of mine who is a teacher, and he said that they were children in the class, and then the Yoruba person was like, "Oh, I don't want to work with these Igbo people. Igbo people like to show themselves too much," and the Igbo people was like, "Let me say, I don't." And I'm like, "This is how it starts." This is how it starts. And it also starts from the conversations we have in the house. If you go home and use a derogatory term for a Yoruba person, maybe your
Or
children
people say people,
or Hausa people,
you know
or
what?
you try to 50-50, you
Yeah.
try and insult
Insult
them.
them.
Your children are watching on this thing. They are picking on this thing. There is no tribe that is greater than the other tribe. There is no
Period.
tribe that is greater than the other tribe for you to feel like one tribe is beneath you.
And honestly, but too many for us to be doing all that.
That's so
200.
it doesn't help us. All this one is
So you
childish
can't even
play.
go to 10 that you're doing.
All
You're,
this
you're
thing is
carrying one on
childish
your
play.
head.
So,
It's insane.
so I feel like it also goes into the conversations we have with the older people at home, with the younger people at home. They just try to bridge this gap between different tribes. That's what people say about NYSU.
Yes.
NYSU cannot be in the same state that
That
they
you
went to
live
school
in.
in or that you lived in because they wanted it to explore other cultures. But yet when it comes to NYSU, everybody walking to Lagos, everybody walking to
But that
Abuja.
one, some of them are understandable because of the insecurity that happens in Nigeria.
Yes, true.
Nobody wants to
True,
risk their
true.
life, and honestly, I understand. Nobody wants to be like
Very
just
correct.
because I'm trying to explore my horizon,
Rather
trying to
than
broaden my
die.
view.
Because remember, it's a manual that if you
Yes, if you kidnap you
should be quiet.
obey them and you move forward, which is crazy. But the country we live in a country, as they say. But at the end of the day, what you should be thinking of the future. Do you want to be 30? Do you want to be 50? You have children, and you tell them, that's what's happening in my day. Your day that was how many years ago? You should be telling you should be something new.
You know the funny part, when we say people like Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, right? When she goes and she publishes book, all of us will claim as our own. We'll claim all of them and say, our Nigerian people are there doing us good.
Of Africa.
All of us will scatter and disperse. It doesn't make sense. Finally, the last one is you need to belong to a political party to vote. And I think we can all generally agree that that is not true.
At all.
You just have to have your PVC and be above 18 and above to vote. You don't need to belong to PDP or APC or ADC. You just have to have your PVC. That PVC is very, very important. And be of age and know your right. Nobody should be intimidating because of voting.
You might be saying this one is all talk, but at the end of the day,
if we don't talk about it, how will people know? If we don't talk about it, how will we educate people? If we don't talk about it, we need to have this conversation so people know that you're not alone in this thing. This country, they tire everybody. The worst part is this country is not a good country because your 20s can go. You go do you like film. Your 20s pass. Your 30s pass. You go the one that say you never build house, you never buy car, you never do anything.
Travel out. You don't go for vacation in that they used to say.
The worst part is we have so much work that needs to be done. Our passport, our passport is weak. Our passport is weak that you cannot even go on vacation without so many issues, so many things. Like our passport. I know that there are different travel creators now who are trying to say that your passport is weak. You shouldn't stop it from exploring. But no be money they go use to explore. We've heard of stories where sometimes people in Nigerian they tell you to wait aside because they want to check you. They want to be sure that if you're coming to their country, you're not bringing any bad thing. Which is the stereotype. If they say we get good government,
we will not stop you. But you know what? We live in a country.
Like Chinua Achebe said, there was a country. These are the conversations that we need to be having because the election is already close by. And by July 10th, it will end. You will not be able to get your PVC. You won't be able to. So everybody needs to put hands together on deck. This thing is like battle. You don't give up just because you've gotten a few losses. And it's not just a few. We've lost so many people. There was that journalist, that 19-year-old journalist who was covering NSAS and he just discovered his body.
Those people that died. Those people that died. And I feel like since then, nobody wants to.
Everybody's tired.
Nobody wants to die for the country.
If we just keep quiet, what's the alternative? And it's going to just get worse.
You think
Like
this is
you want to
bad?
rent house now. Once you say a house that's in an area with light, the price is going to be different from the. They'll tell you that because it has. Is the house? Our
Or
house is
the
not
road is
supposed.
hard.
Our
Something
house is
is
not supposed to have
expected.
light. Our road is not supposed to
Something
be
is
starred.
expected.
The
It's
moment it's like
insane.
that, the moment you just see. So basic amenities are what we are paying for.
Yeah.
Your light. And this area get light. To no be federal light. You
Federal
don't already
lights,
increase them. And this place where they start, even when for you no go work out for water, they don't already
extra
increase them.
price.
This place where they for middle of city, you don't already increase them. So the moment you were paying for basic amenities, and let's talk about the jobs, there are no jobs. Then you see someone come and say that Nigerians don't want to. Nigerians
They
are
say
hard
go and
workers.
start akara business and kuli kuli. It
Nigerians
is
are
insane.
crazy hard workers, but there are not even enough platforms. There are not so many things for us to apply
And even
ourselves
then,
to.
we're still pushing.
We're
We're
still
still trying.
pushing.
Anyway,
We're doing
try
content
and
creation.
seek your
We're
way
doing
inside.
business. We're doing 9 to 5.
They're trying, what do you call those people?
We're working too hard against a system that's already been
Online
rigged.
work.
We're working too hard for a system that is not working for us, and that should not be
Yeah.
so. And that the truth of the matter is, you go work hard, work hard, work hard till you die, because the system is just going to keep on getting worse and worse until something happens. Okay, so I want us to shift the conversations to. We've talked about candidates, right, and the type of candidates you should vote for. So, what are the things we should look out for when voting for candidates? I was going to say manifesto,
Yeah.
but then I read President Tinubu's manifesto. It was 80 pages.
Mm-hmm.
I read everything. I am yet to see a single thing from that manifesto that he has done. So we cannot even assess candidates on the basis of manifesto.
I think at this point, manifesto is just to show. It's just something they put aside
not
to say,
live.
I'm feeling because I think you have to have a manifesto.
You have to
So
have
they
a
just do it
manifesto.
as per, let me just do it. Let me just
Big
run.
English there to
And
effectively
because I feel
to
like
do
they
this
feel like
one.
most Nigerians
Will
would
not
not want
read
to
it.
read it.
How many of you read the manifesto? So that answers the question. So the previous manifesto, there were a lot of things that they said they would do, even exports, even agriculture, even security. Nothing was done.
The security one is crazy because the things that are happening in this country that we just kind of everybody at some point they will rally around it, but then everybody will move on because it's not you. That's just the fact. It's not you. You'll be like, thank God, though, my family is safe. But that is not fair because other people have lost their family, children that they've taken from there. It's just it's scary to see because at the end of the day, you don't know when it's, God forbid, it will never be our turn, but you don't know when it will reach you. I think that is what moves Nigerians for because they feel like because it's not my turn today and it's not my turn tomorrow, I'll keep on moving forward, which is not the way it should be. We cannot be struggling. Every day cannot be a struggle. Every day you cannot be one day today, forward forever. You have to, at some point, we have to be like, you know what, give us what we are owed. How would you leave us in this 4 years, nothing to show for it? And you know what? Everybody just like, this is not the first time we move. You keep on going
It's
another
just
4 years,
terrible. It's
over
just
and over
terrible.
and over
And
again.
the worst part is the
It's
people
not
who are
nice
in
at all.
control, they don't get affected by these things. And I feel
Children are
like
not in this country.
you don't even understand that there was one. I don't know the position the father has, but I saw it on Instagram. So they heard about the insecurity, and immediately they mobilized.
Out.
They mobilized security to take them out, and I was like, "You're just showing us what other people do not have.
Yeah.
What other people, like a regular person, a regular Nigerian doesn't have. So what happens to the remaining people that don't have any sort of security? God is their security." Because the guy was like, they called him and said that the insurgents are in their area. Immediately they loaded them into the car. And the guy was like, I was even still sleeping. Sleep has not left my eye, and I was like, bro. What about other people there that don't have the same measures as you do? So we have to. January is already here.
But then we have, and it's like the thing that we have to do is long.
It's plenty. It is plenty.
But the first step should just get your PVC.
Get
you know
your
what?
PVC.
People, you may be like everybody is repeating. Just get your PVC. Just get it. Maybe from there, there's a way forward. Maybe from there we can actually see how would we what we're supposed to do. PVC, get it now.
Let me see what else I've outlined that I was going to talk about. Get your PVC. Get your PVC. And I feel like we should be able to, what's that word? We should be, let's call it self-awareness. We should be able to critique your leaders. That someone is your leader doesn't make them above the law. We should be able to critique it. And the way we should be able to critique our leaders is the same way we should be able to critique the people that are coming up for presidential election. What have you done? Most of these people have been governors or aides in different capacities. What did you do during your time to make us confident that you can do more? Because the president of the country is the head of state, is the chief commander in charge of the armed forces, and is in charge of the country's economic and security forces. So it's a very, very big role. Do you understand? It's a very big role that shouldn't just be taken lightly. So you have to assess your candidates based on their competence, based on their qualification, based on their past track record. what have they done, not how much money they put in your pocket. That money will eventually run out, and you will be left with the aftermath or the consequences of your actions. So you need to ask yourself, am I voting for this person solely based on tribe? Am I voting for this person solely based on whatever I feel like I have to gain from them?
Yeah.
Or am I voting for this person because I truly believe that they are the best chance at us, at this country becoming
Moving forward,
better?
yeah.
Yeah, so that's where we're going to end today. So if you want to get your PVC, we're going to actually drop like a step by
The
step
link, yeah.
on how to get your PVC. We're going to drop links on where we did our research for this episode, so you can actually read up more on it if you want. And yeah, that's just it. So the end of the day, get your PVC. We've established everything that happens during the election. We're not going to act like we're blind to it. It does
Mm.
happen, but we're still going to stand on our ground because we deserve a country that works for us. We deserve a country where people can live comfortably. We deserve
Yeah.
a country where minimum wage can be paid. We deserve a country where things are not increasing every single month. You can't buy something this month and go the next month and see that the next
Think
price.
about
It has
next month.
increased.
Next week sometimes. Now next week you buy am. When you come, if you ask me when you come
Yeah,
here.
we deserve a country where there are rules and regulations. Look at rent in Lagos. Before you know it, they can take your Lagosians can take your rent from 300K to 1.3 million naira. There's supposed to be rules and regulations for this things. And if you do the thing, you don't want to come out.
Somebody else to get it. That
Someone
was
else to
it.
get it. And it happens the same thing for jobs. You see a job that pay you 20K, and the person tell you, if you know go do, I don't get
Somebody
person will go do
else.
for 15K. Say, job, people they find work. Oh. So we should be in a country that works for us. So that's just it at the end of the day. Get your PVC. Talk to the people around you, the old people around you, educate them on the importance of PVC. Look at the different candidates that are coming and then look at them and say, which one am I going to vote for?
Don't
Which
just look
one?
at the one your church is telling you to vote for, please. Don't look at the one that is from your tribe or from your ethnic group. Just read. I know sometimes it sounds so easy, but just look, just read. Just open your eyes.
Don't be an educated illiterate.
In fact,
Don't just
watch their debates. I feel like this Nigerians
yeah, they're going to have
watch their
presidential debates.
read their manifesto, research on these
They're
people.
going to
What
have
have they done?
presidential
Where have they
debates.
been?
What have they
Simple.
done? So those are the things that we should be looking at for. And with this, we'll be ending this episode and see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.